The 61st Amendment Bill was introduced in December 1988. Following the amendment, India witnessed a surge among young leaders entering politics, and many became prominent figures thanks in a large part to the youth's growing influence in the electoral process. With millions of young voters entering the political landscape, political parties realized that they had to shift their focus to address issues that directly impacted this particular demographic. However, in 2024, there was a worrying decline in the voter registrations amongst the 18 to 19 year age group, raising concerns about a potential disengagement. The 61st Amendment Bill was introduced in December 1988 by B. Shankaranand, the then Minister for Law and Justice, and the response was overwhelmingly supportive. Once it received presidential nod, it officially came into effect on March 28, 1989. Now, if we look at what this amendment aimed to achieve, we find that it primarily focused on enhancing electoral participation and involving youth in the aspects of governance. One of the key outcomes was that nearly 50 million new voters were added to the electoral rolls in India, which significantly increased voter participation. With millions of young voters entering the political landscape, political parties realized that they had to shift their focus to address issues that directly impacted this particular demographic, such as education, job availability, and technological advancements. By lowering the voting age, India reinforced the notion of universal adult suffrage, making sure that a broader segment of society had a say in who represented them. This shift also encouraged young people to become actively involved in student movements, protests, and political activism, contributing to a more vibrant civic life and civic society overall. Plus, it helped align India with the international democratic standards, enhancing its reputation as a progressive democratic nation. Looking at how this amendment shaped the evolution of Indian Constitution, it became a significant milestone in reshaping the electoral framework while reinforcing democratic ideals. Over the years, the impact of the amendment has played a noticeable role in the electoral trends and political engagement. For instance, during the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, youth voter turnout reached impressive levels, making the highest participation rate amongst young voters at the time. Similarly, in the 2019 elections, a staggering number of first-time voters stepped into the polling booths. However, in 2024, there was a worrying decline in the voter registrations amongst the 18 to 19 year age group, raising concerns about a potential disengagement. Political parties began crafting their electoral strategies to cater more to the youth, and recognizing that this demographic could no longer be ignored, they began addressing issues that mattered the most to the young people of India. Although the amendment itself wasn't really challenged in court, various judicial rulings over the years have emphasized the importance of ensuring that youth voting rights are upheld and protected. The discussion surrounding electoral reform did not stop with the amendment either. Over time, there have been calls for further reforms, such as introducing compulsory voting and lowering the candidacy age, and integrating political education into school curriculums to prepare future generations. As for some interesting anecdotes, whilst the initiative for lowering the age came from the political party then in power, it received broad-based support from even the fiercest opposition parties. They expressed concerns about youth voters being too impressionable, but however supported the ultimate scenario, indicating that education and media landscape had transformed, making young citizens more politically aware and responsible. This amendment also had an indirect positive effect on student activism, encouraging young people to engage more deeply deeply with politics and even take up leadership roles. Following the amendment, India witnessed a surge among young leaders entering politics, and many became prominent figures thanks in a large part to the youth's growing influence in the electoral process. In conclusion, therefore, the 61st Amendment truly marked a turning point in India's democratic policy. It empowered millions of young people and made the electoral process much more inclusive.